Welcome, everyone, to day 3 of the Purpose-Driven Prosperity Operating System Sprint. Today is Close the Gap Day. On day 1, we covered the Forever Offer Framework, which gave you an offer statement that is perennial, evolving based on positioning and not ridiculous digital marketing niching and client customer avatars and so forth, and some idea virus statements that you can then put into what we covered on day 2, which is your Be a Blessing marketing web, an ecosystem of showing up in the places where the people that need the kind of change that you can help them make are already gathering. And you can see those places with your Forever Offer statements, your idea virus statements. And so where the last couple of days have been about who you are and what you do and how you get the word out, today we're going to talk about the system that you can use to create immediate execution and optimization of the systems that are helping you refine your offer, refine your audience, or in most cases for the folks that are here, what we're really talking about is your client attraction system and dialing that system in, defining the system, the outcomes, the components, and then optimizing and refining that system so that you can get clear about closer to what you want with greater ease and velocity. So I'm going to go right to a screen share and we're going to jump in. So again, day 3, close the gap. What we are talking about here is a system for clarifying what it is that you're actually trying to accomplish right now, crafting your success path, the most efficient and effective success path to accomplishing that priority, and then collapsing time to target by refining that system in defined periods of time. I recommend 90 days, but you can use 60 or 30 days, and raising the floor on the elements of the system that need work and making sure that you maintain a ceiling so that things don't get too hot and out of control. So the theme here is we are defining direction. We are creating a disciplined approach to our daily activities that are helping us collect data and that are helping us create deliberate progress in optimizing our business and helping that business fit and fine tune the life that we want to be living. So the idea here is that clarity becomes traction when you create a simple system that you can actually run. So today is where the Forever Offer and your Be a Blessing marketing rhythm become a business that you can operate with confidence. We're all solopreneurs. We all are familiar with the constraints that we have to work within. There's 24 hours in a day, only so much attention that we can bring to bear day to day, only so much energy we can expend day to day, and we only have so much revenue or financing that we can invest on any given day. And even when we have a disciplined approach, randomness and uncertainty is going to exist. And so what we want to do as solopreneurs is how can we create the greatest amount of certainty, or at least more confidence in our ability to close the gap on specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound objectives, and implement a system of only the necessary components and continue to optimize that system to collapse time to target with greater ease and velocity. That's what we're here to talk about today. So just a couple quick reminders from the last 2 days. At this point, you know what you do, who you serve, how you show up, and where. Today, we answer, how do I execute consistently without the overwhelm? And Close the Gap is your operating system. This is not some sort of highfalutin theory or some sort of made-up thing that I created. This is actually a proven, time-tested system that is action-focused and shaped by tight feedback loops that help you measure your progress as you go and optimize your system as you go. So the anchor idea here is that every system in your business and in your life is perfectly designed to deliver the results it currently delivers. Every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. If you don't have a clear vision of what a good enough lifestyle looks like for you, there's no way that you can create a system that's going to bring that into existence. You have to start with, what does the lifestyle that I want to be living look like? And then we want to look at, how can I build a business that not only funds that lifestyle, but fits that lifestyle. And then as you define the business and the systems through the offer, the audience, and the client attraction system, it's always about fine-tuning or iterating, improving, optimizing that business plan, that business structure, and that client attraction system to fund and fit the life that you actually want. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about this system of 90-day cycles. Again, you can choose to use smaller cycles if you want, but 90 days is what I recommend. And we're going to build a system and refine that system. This is how you build flywheels in your business. Flywheels that help you continue to evolve and refine your forever offer, evolve and refine your Be a Blessing marketing web, and evolve and refine your client attraction system. So part one, we want to talk about what Close the Gap actually is. So Close the Gap, very simply, is a simple, repeatable operating system for moving from clarity to consistency to compounding results. It's a way of boosting certainty. Absolute certainty is never possible, but we can boost the certainty about our ability to collapse time to target. And it boosts our confidence that we can do that when we have clarity of where we're starting from and what we're starting with, specifically what we're trying to accomplish, and what are the 2 or 3 things that need to be consistently implemented and improved in order to get the compounding results that we want. So a Close the Gap system or process helps us choose the right objective, focus on what truly matters, remove friction, get immediate feedback, and approve efficiently based on the analysis and the strategy that we come up with through the analysis of the data, the feedback that we're gathering. So what Close the Gap gives you is a 90-day priority, a path made of the few essential moves that will help you collapse time to target and accomplish that priority, a weekly or even daily rhythm to execute that, and tight feedback loops for you to review and refine your system as you go. It's another reason why I believe that 90 days objectives are really helpful, because you're not locked into a specific objective or success plan for all 90 days. You may get information in the first 30 days, the first 30 minutes, the first 3 days, who knows? But you have the ability to iterate and improve and refine the system as you go. So there's no unnecessary fluff or bloat. There's no dashboards to be checking. There's no complicated planning tools. It's just a very simple plan for setting a priority, crafting your success path, and then collapsing time to target. It's something that provides clarity, allows you to apply it with commitment, and course correct as you go. The 3 phases of Close the Gap are clarify your direction, craft your path, collapse time to target. Direction. We're talking about vectors here. You have to have a specific, measurable, achievable goal. We can't say things like, oh, I want more money, or I need more clients, or I need more time. More is not a defined objective. Money and time are usually not the things that we're actually wanting. What we want is what we would do with more time, or what we would do if we had more money. What is the actual objective that you're trying to accomplish? What's the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goal? And so when you know what you're actually trying to accomplish, number one, you'll know when you actually accomplish it. Number two, it's the only way that you're going to be able to craft a path that will get you there. So define what you are actually trying to accomplish in the next 90 days. What is a good enough outcome? I think you can apply this to the lifestyle vision that you're trying to have your business fund and fit around. What does a good enough life look like? It's not usually, for the people that are at least attracted to my world, it's not usually 2 beach houses, 6 cars in the garage, and $1 billion in the bank. Most of us would be thrilled if we just made enough year to year to continue to do the work that we love to do with the people that we actually care about. And if we can enjoy a nice cup of coffee along the way, or get a dessert at the restaurant after dinner, or enjoy a bottle of wine, or whatever it is, but define what that is. What does a good enough day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year existence look like? What is sufficient? And then what is the next most sufficient objective that will help you accomplish that? So, some things that you can ask yourself: what outcomes matters most to me right now? What would make the next 90 days undeniably successful? What's worth doing even if it's hard? What objective aligns with my forever offer and fits within the marketing web that I can build this weekend? So again, we use the SMART objective format for the most part when we're defining priorities. Your objective, your priority should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be achievable, relevant, and time bound. It's good if it's simple enough to remember. It's good if it's aligned with your identity and scene. And it's good if you have it remain within your sphere of influence and control. If your objective relies on you winning the lottery, prepare yourself for some massive disappointment. If your objective relies on the economy suddenly going gangbusters and turning into a bull market, be prepared for some disappointment. You want to create goals where you and what you immediately have available can bring that to bear, can bring that into existence. The second part, crafting the path, once we have direction, once we know where we're starting and what we're starting with and where exactly we're going, we have directionality. And then it's about the path. It's about the roadmap. And when we're talking about the roadmap here, it's not so much linearly what's the long sequence of events that has to happen at the right time in the right order to get me there, but what are the 2 or 3 activities that if I do them well enough every single day will help me collapse to target? And so if you operate from first principles thinking and you think from a systems thinking point of view, and the things that you can micro-step and improve, there's never more than 2 or 3 things that have to go right in order for you to accomplish a immediate priority. So what are the 2 or 3 things that have to go right? These are the essential moves, not everything you could do, but the few things that have to go well enough that will give you outsized gains. So for a lot of you, it probably has something to do with your customer attraction process. But if you're not there yet, if you don't really have a clearly defined forever offer statement that you can start talking about, your priority is to come up with your forever. Like if you don't have something to offer, you don't have a business. So if you don't have enough clarity of your offer, start with the offer. That's your priority. If you're struggling to find an audience that wants the thing that you have to offer or needs the thing that you have to offer, or if you want to start with the audience so that you can see what the people that you like to hang out with are needing help with or the aspirations they're trying to achieve, then finding an audience might be your priority. But again, for most of us, especially at this point in the sprint, you've got a forever offer statement. You know the scenes, the places where the people that you can help already are gathering, and you can start getting the word out in those places. It then comes down to, how am I going to attract the right fit prospects, turn them into great fit leads, and turn them into perfect fit clients? And in general, most of you are using some form of the icebreaker to diagnostic to continuance flow as a means of getting into your mid-ticket and high-ticket offers. So examples of the path is, if you need to create your first sale of your forever offer and you know what your offer is and where your audience is, then you need to create icebreaker conversations that lead to diagnostic conversations that lead people into a low ticket continuance program that set you up to get those first mid-ticket and high-ticket clients. Other examples might be stabilizing your weekly rhythm. If you're spending 80 hours a week trying to generate the content or generate the conversations that you need to power your client attraction flywheel, then what you probably want to do is audit your day-to-day weekly activities. How much time am I investing in creating content that I hope starts conversations and attracts prospects? How much time am I investing in the direct outreach that I know deep down in my heart is probably the fastest path to starting conversations? How much time am I investing in the follow-up to those conversations? If you audit what you're already spending your time on, you can almost always, and we talked about this yesterday with the Be a Blessing Marketing Web, if you audit all the places that you're already spending time trying to start conversations or attract clients and do a realistic return on investment for the time, attention, money, and effort you're spending in those places, you'll probably be able to just shut down 80% of the places that you're trying to show up and get something started. And that immediately boosts revenue because you're not wasting time, which means you're making money, saving money. You'll save a ton of time. You'll save a ton of attention and effort. Maybe you'll also save some actual money if you're engaged in Facebook ads or anything like that. You can reinvest all of that in the one or two places that you are getting some traction and return on investment. Another example, what might be improving your follow-up cadence. Like, I'm starting conversations, but I'm not doing well with moving those into diagnostic. Well, that's the bottleneck. The bottleneck is, how do I, in a natural, organic, authentic way, move someone from, I helped you define your direction, where you are and what you're trying to accomplish. How do I move you into the diagnostic that helps me? And we'll talk more about this in the workshop coming up on Tuesday. And we've talked about this in Customers and Clients on Purpose. How am I setting up the conversation, initiating the conversation, moving that conversation into something that provides me and the person I'm talking to with some clarity of direction, where they are, what they're starting with, where they're trying to go? How do I then move that into the diagnostic, where I am trying to help them see what they don't see, help them see their blind spots, help them clarify if they're a good fit for me and if I'm a good fit for them, and demonstrate some actual expertise in solving the kind of problem that they have or achieving the kind of aspiration they have through some sort of flash roll moment where you're delivering real value and providing an actual roadmap that will get them from where they are to where they want to be. If that's where you're at, maybe it's working on the diagnostic, maybe it's working on the transition from icebreaker to diagnostic, maybe it's rethinking the conversations that you're having in icebreakers and whether they're happening with the right people. Identify the actual priority that you're trying to accomplish. And that, I'll just zip through these last ones. You can also be thinking about auditing the access tier in your Be a Blessing marketing system. I know where this always sounds awful, where I'm exposing people to my offer. I know the places where I am creating a little more proximity through permission marketing and having more one-on-one conversations with them. But where am I giving them access to me so they can actually experience who I am, the way I show up, the thing that I'm the best in the world at doing, and the way only I can do, and deliver value that gets them eager to raise their hand and continue working with you. And then the last example I gave here is just reducing the effort spent on low value marketing channels. If you're showing up everywhere all the time on social media trying to get stuff going and it's just not happening on certain platforms, that's time that's being wasted. It might feel productive. It might feel like something important is happening there. But if you stop doing it, not only would you save a lot of time, attention, money, and effort, but you could reinvest all those assets into doing things that you actually want to do without losing any income, or you could reinvest a portion of that into the things that are actually generating income to help generate more income faster. So the good path making in the craft your path moment is through subtraction, not addition. You're not going to build momentum by doing more. You're going to build it by doing what matters, and you're going to build it by doing what matters better. And then the third piece of the close the gap process is collapsing time to target. We have direction. We know where we're starting, what we're starting with. We know where we're going, and we can specifically name it, measure our progress toward it. And we'll know when we have accomplished it or how close we came. And then we've named the 2 or 3 things that have to go right. Now it's about reducing friction and reducing drag and executing so that we can raise the floor on the components of the system that need to be improved to boost overall efficiency and effectiveness and resist the urge to push on the ceiling, which is always going to result in very little return on investment, but also risks blowing ourselves up or burning ourselves out. So In the collapse time to target, we're naming the most immediate bottleneck, removing any of the cruft, any of the unnecessary things. We're simplifying all of our commitments and all of our obligations, and we're shortening the feedback loops. The quicker we can get feedback, the quicker we can analyze the feedback and strategize based on the adjustments that need to be made. So questions you can ask are, what slows me down? What confuses me? What drains me? What could I stop doing entirely and it would have no impact on the overall effectiveness or efficiency of the system? This is how we uncover the obstacles between knowing the path and walking it. So before we get into the case process and how we optimize the system, I do want to talk a little bit about the distinction between constraints and bottlenecks. For the most part, when we are defining our 90-day priority, the thing we want to accomplish in the next quarter of the year, it's going to come down to identifying the most immediate bottleneck, not the most immediate constraint. Why do I make that distinction? For solopreneurs, we all operate within the same constraints. There's 24 hours in a day. There's only so much time and attention that we can lend to our business on any given day or on any task within our business. There's only so much energy that we can expend or invest in the day-to-day things that just are necessary to keep our business running, never mind the time invested to improve and optimize systems. Those are constraints: time, attention, money, effort. Those are the constraints we all work with. A bottleneck is, what's the specific thing impeding my progress right now, reducing the flow of resources that will get me to be able to accomplish the thing I want to accomplish, which is a business that actually funds and fits your ideal lifestyle. A bottleneck is going to be very unique and distinct to you and your business, because everybody in this room is at a different point in their business growth or their business development. If you don't have an offer, that's your biggest constraint. I could work with you for years on a client acquisition system, but if we don't know what the outcome is that we provide for people, you're not going to accomplish anything. That bottleneck is way, way out in the future. You have to identify the most immediate bottleneck. The way that I like to think about it, and this comes from Nick Peterson's R3 book, is you have a hose. One end of the hose is in a bucket that you want to get filled. The other end is attached to a tap, which is going to be where the resources come from, flow out of. So the tap, out of the tap is your reservoir of finite resources: time, attention, money, and effort. When you turn that tap on, what you want is for those resources to flow smoothly through a hose to fill a bucket, the ideal life that you want the business to fund and fit around. If you don't know what that ideal life that you want your business to fund and fit around is, you have a bucket that's full of holes. And even if we unkink the hose and turn the water on full blast, you're never going to fill the bucket because you haven't defined what success actually is. You have to know what the bucket looks like. What does it look and feel like day to day, week to week, to live the kind of life that is good enough for you that you can build a business to fund and fit around. If the bucket is intact and it doesn't have too many holes or leaks, I mean, the bucket can change, but then the hose is always going to have kinks in it. And if you're addressing the kink at the end of the hose that is working with 10 ideal clients, but you haven't yet addressed the first kink, which is, I don't even know yet what I'm selling, solving for that kink at the end of the hose is not going to help you. There's no flow getting to that kink. When you address the most immediate bottleneck, when you address the most immediate kink in the hose, number one, you automatically increase flow. You're getting closer to filling that bucket. Oftentimes, addressing the most immediate kink in the hose will not only help you identify the next kink in the hose, but sometimes it will actually resolve kinks that are down the hose. Sometimes if you're going to start with the audience that you would like to be working with. I know I like to help these kind of people because they align with my values and they actually like these talents and skills that I bring into our conversations that help them. Maybe your offer gets sorted before you even have to worry about it because you've had so many conversations with people that the offer becomes self-evident and you've solved both kinks at the same time. But you have to, again, most of the time when we are thinking about the close the gap process and we're thinking about what's the number one business priority I need to solve right now, it's what's the most immediate bottleneck to my business success. If you don't yet have your lifestyle vision, that's your bottleneck. If you have a lifestyle vision but you don't have an offer, that's your bottleneck. If you have an offer but don't know where to show up to start testing and sharing it, that's your bottleneck. So know where you are. Obviously, just to carry the analogy one step further, if you know your bucket is full of holes, you know your hose is full of kinks, turning the tap on full blast and just bleeding resources is not a wise move. You want to crack the hose just enough to get some flow going to identify that most immediate bottleneck, but you're not going to maximize your output of resources until the close is squeaky clean from tap to bucket and the bucket has all the holes filled in it. So be really aware when you're applying the system to getting specific about what's the thing that actually needs to happen for me next in order to build the business that funds that ideal life vision. So moving on to part 3, this is the case system. Hey, it's Scott, and if this has been helpful so far and you want the full 3-day purpose-driven prosperity model operating system accelerator, here's how to get it. Inside the inner circle, you get the complete Forever Offer Framework session, the Be a Blessing marketing session, and the Close the Gap session, along with all the worksheets, presentation notes, and Cornerman coaching app to help you implement the system in your business right now. To watch the full replay and unlock the entire accelerator, upgrade to the Inner Circle on Substack. You'll find the link in the description and in the show notes. Just tap the link in the episode description or visit my Substack and choose the Inner Circle All Access option.